All right, everyone. Welcome to not a hurricane review, not Corky's Corner, just kind of a hybrid of the two, even though we're not going to be talking about the hurricanes a lot. Basically, with Corky's Corner is on hiatus. I think it'll come back, but my dad is not happy with the Oilers right now and their start. I tried to kind of get him to talk about the Heritage Classic. Tried to use that to convince him he's just done. So if you like Corky's Corner, you got to be rooting for the Oilers to do well because that's the only thing that's keeping the Corky's Corner alive right now. I hope it comes back in some level in the future, but right now my dad's just not up for hockey. So that's where that is. And now that I started, we're going to have a little bit of a tone shift here. Rest in peace to Adam Johnson. I think it's a tragic situation. I don't see. Yeah, I know there's a police investigation. I think it's understandable for the police to investigate it, but I do. I don't think there's anything malicious. Obviously the detectives in charge will hopefully, if there was any malice intent, get to the bottom of it. Just as someone who's played hockey for years, watched hockey for probably slightly longer, I don't. It's just a freak accident. Like there are thousands of games played. I think net guards are a valid case to make now because we've seen real life consequences to it outside of just the game and wear and tear on the body that playing competitive sports does. So, um, I think maybe net guard should be a requirement because players' lives are on the line. My whole thing with things being illegal in the game a lot, like to soften the game, quote unquote, is if it can kill you. So like playing through pain, I think that's fine. I think I mean, I've finished games with. I think I had not break. I don't want to say, bruised bone right here in my collarbone. Played a game. Got Charlie Horse finished the game. And then you hear players finishing games with broken ankles, broken ribs, this and that. I think that's fine as long as you're not at risk of dying. Not wearing a neck guard, we've now seen, even though there are cases in the past, there's now definitive proof not wearing a neck guard can kill you in the game of hockey. I can understand the league looking at it and making it a requirement at this point, and I wouldn't object to it. I think safety of players to be at risk of dying is important. I think that's the line between general risk of playing a sport versus, this should be required. Like, that's where I think the line is for me. And we've seen that line is crossed. I myself might be getting a net guard. I don't play contact hockey, so not if I ever play full contact hockey again, I'm probably buying a net guard. I'll say that. But that aside, I do want to say, rest in peace to Adam Johnson as well. I hope him and his family are doing the best as they can possibly can be. The tribute the Penguins have done for him is very nice. The Ontario Reign as well. Just a sad situation all around. So yeah, maybe I should have ended the video with that because we're going to be talking about something different. I regret the tone shift, but the NHL is stripping the Ottawa Senators of a first round pick. I think with the president set with the Blackhawks situation and Kyle Beach, which I was very vocal of, I was very vocal of it in Corky's Corner a couple of times. I've been vocal about it as soon as it came out that this was happening. I think it doesn't go along with the fair president, but I think, at any point, I think the NHL needs to set a precedent, and, it sucks that maybe Ottawa would be the first one to really be said if you screw over players, you screw over this, you screw over the CBA, then, you're going to get a first round pick stripped. And I think if that's the new rule, it should be flat out stated from here on out. We haven't been consistent in the past, everything in the past. We haven't done that. That will come and we'll move forward this way. One thing that I think is telling in the Evgeny Dodonov trade situation, and for those of you who don't remember, Evgeny Dadonov, he was traded to Vegas from Ottawa. Vegas was led to believe he didn't get the waiver clause in on time. And so basically, there's no trade clause in time, so Vegas thought he didn't have one. He gets traded to Anaheim. Trade gets null and void because he did. Ottawa just didn't send it to Vegas. And thus, all this from 2 years ago, I think, why did it take this long is my biggest thing. And I don't want to be conspiratorial. I don't know if my dad's still working on the Bettman conspiracy book, but Gary Bettman, I do think it is suspicious that something that inconveniences Vegas is a first round pick stripped. The Darnell Nurse getting suspended for a game and not overturned when that's happened in the past. Pietrangelo only getting one game. The NHL apologizing for Vegas getting screwed when they gave up 4 goals in 5 minutes. It's I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think the NHL does favor Vegas to some level, and it annoys me. I think it's because it's the first traditional market that has been an immediate success. But I think it could be deserved as long as they come out and say, and they won't. But I do think, yeah, the Kyle Beach president shouldn't be set. And I think some people are saying, oh, with Kyle Beach, it's off ice. No, I think when your entire business model is about taking in players who, what's the best word for it? The players who, like, business model, taking players who are in the same position as Kyle Beach. That's your business model. You draft players at 18, nothing wrong with it. That happens in all sports, but that's your business model. You owe it to keep these vulnerable players. I know, like, Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Connor Bedard, not vulnerable players. If anything happened with them, they can complain, lose their job. But they're in the vast minority. The majority of players are in the same position as Kyle Beach was. That affects on ice product when that's your business model. That's how I see it. And so I don't think this is consistent with the punishment set. Chicago lost no draft picks over it. One thing I could see in the future to kind of fix these issues instead of the NHL should be on ice product, things that affect stuff like that should be handled by the NHL, and then situations like Chicago should be handled by the head of union. As long as I'm blanking on his name, the union head is as good as he first appeared in the Mike Babcock situation. You need a good union head for that. The NHL doesn't historically have one. And then the thing is, the NHL was shady in the exact same way. They did not let Michael Andlauer know he was going to have to give up a first-round pick when he was buying the team, because this was been an investigation going. This was before the transfer of sale from the Melnyk the Melnyk sisters to Michael Andlauer. And Michael Andlauer's right to be like, look, I would not have paid $1 billion for this team if I knew Stützle was under investigation and if I knew I was going to have to give up a first-round pick. All of that is completely fair. I think it shows the NHL is being hypocritical. We'll see what comes out of that, but that's it for kind of just wrapping up the news. This might be a Corky's Corner replacement. Haven't thought of a name for it yet, but not going to be a consistent series, but just kind of whenever there's news around the league, I'll probably do something like this. So that's it for this one. Hopefully I'm able to catch the Hurricanes-Rangers game. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. Obviously, it's my favorite team against my least favorite team. If Carolina loses, it might take me a minute to make the video, but we'll see how all that goes. See you guys soon.